I'll be good up in this joint. What's up, people? It's your man, Tim Black. Welcome back to the Tim Black Show. Man, what's going on, man? How y'all doing? How are the people, the people, the people, the people? My people, my people, my people. What's up? Oh, man. Yo, we back in the building. We're back tuned in. Are we live? Are the mics hot? The mics are hot. Yo, fam. Trying to get everything orderly. This is going to work. This is working enough. It's enough. I don't want to do all that, man. What's going on? I got the Tim Black Wolfpack in the house, and I got my brother and my sisters, Ebony, Black Mamba, and my brother, Buck Bewley. Give it up for me, y'all. Man. Man, oh man. That's some water over here. We got it. We good. I said we good. Who's in the building tonight, man? Who we got? Oh, it's just you tonight, Buck? I heard that, man. All right, Buck, brother, stay as long as you can. Don't stay a minute longer. And it's all good, man. I'll come through. I'll block trolls. I'll get some of them. What's up, Cherry Covington? What's up, Catherine? How you doing? Rika Pursley. That's a new one. No, that's Rico. What up, Rico? Rico from Mississippi. Give it up for that brother, man. And what is cracking? Florigian. Tim Black's Wolfpack, Anthony McDowell. What up? Black Rose in the building. For sale, Megs. Thank you, Megs, on the board off the break. Black Boy B1 up in the building. Give me love. What's up, fam? Mahal, y'all. What's up, Mahal, y'all? Devin. Before I go too far, man. Harry C is up in the house. Quince Randolph. Did I get for sale? We get him another time. For sale again. S Biz. All right, S Biz. So I'm really glad to have my people back in the house, man. Thank y'all for tuning into the show. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? It's dope to have y'all come through for this, man, representing. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Tim Black Wolfpack, those who keep the lights on up in the Tim Black studio. Yeah. I say yeah. So I want to do a little scrolling, make sure we do, get some shout outs to my people that got here earlier, man. You know, my early comers, man, like Yolandia. They've been hanging around. Irene. Bruce Newsom in the building. Crumb. Yeah, there we go. Gotta get that. Crumb was first one out the gate, man. I try to scroll all the way to the top, man. This joint, my brim okay, man. We all right? Everything all right? Okay. So we straight, man. Gotta try to keep things straight, man. Let me make sure I got my notes up, everything ready, man. Jesus Christ, man. It's always something, man. A lot of spam on my phone, man. I gotta get rid of these people, man. This is ridiculous. All right, man. Wow. I don't know. Today is Wednesday, man. I don't know, man. I guess it is what it is, fam. You know, it is what it is. We do what we can do with what we got. And we if you're new to the show, this is a Tim Black show. We do this Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And we do our best to deliver breaking news, black culture, and politics, U.S. politics, that is. Every once in a while, I'll dip my toe in a little bit of the international news, but for the most part, I'm just doing, U.S. politics news, which is a lot of news, frankly. We got a lot going on. We do a lot. We do our best, because see, here's the thing about us, man, and I want to make sure people be clear here. We don't work for any of these parties. I don't work for the Green Party, the Blue Party, the Red Party. None of them. None of them pay my bills. None of them fund the show. I'm not connected to any party, okay? So that's one thing very different about this show than many of the folks in the political space, okay? Very clear. Let's be very clear about that. The other thing I want to be very clear up front with you about, all cards on the table, I'm a Democratic Party hater. Yep, I'm a Democratic Party hater, fam, and I'm proud of it, man. I said I'm proud of it. There are worse things to be. Put it that way. I'm a Democratic Party hater because the Democratic Party is full of it. Republican Party is full of it too, but they never promised the black people anything. And black Americans don't vote for Republicans, do they? So, kind of hard to go to a store you didn't buy anything from and be like, I need a refund. I'm going to give you a bad Yelp review. You haven't even come in the store. So what? Heard y'all don't have what I need. That ain't how shit works. It's just not how it works, but that's what we be doing though. You can't get a refund when you haven't made a purchase. So we've been purchasing from the Democrats. What is going on? Do I have some ink somewhere? Some ink all over the place. We've been shopping at the same store called the Democratic Party store. And we ain't got nothing out of it. Oh, not a damn thing, Johnson. It's been very much unacceptable. This has been very unacceptable what we have gotten out of this party, so I'm upset about that. That being said, I'm not telling you to become a Republican, okay? If you knew, you got to hear this. People that have been here know this. People that only watch little clips and then run away. They watch a 5-minute clip that ain't even about this. And it's sad because, see, part of the problem we have here is that if you ain't a Democrat, they say you must be a Republican. If you ain't a Republican, they say you must be a Democrat. Half the country's independent. There are more independent people who don't choose a party than Democrats and Republicans put together. You wouldn't know that. You would think people understood that. Because everybody know people that don't vote. All of us know people that don't vote. Those people are not Democrats or Republicans. That's the biggest party. The no party. The couch party is the biggest party, fam. So there that is. I'm not telling you to become a Republican. My advocacy is for Black America. With 40% of the homeless population, with 35-40% of the prison population, and we only own, what is it? What's the number? 40% of Black Americans, only 40% of Black Americans own their own homes. Latino Americans are 50%. Non-Hispanic whites, 70 plus. And it's been that way for Black Americans since 1950. So I got a problem with that. And anybody that doesn't have a problem with that, or anybody has a problem with me having a problem with that, has a problem. Because that to me is enough reasons right there. Like, why should I even have to talk more? To explain my position. But it's like I gotta keep doing it because people, they just assume shit. If I talk about Mark Lamont Hill, which I've done recently in a video where he had Joy Reid on and he was kissing her ass the whole time, praying to her and shit. I thought he was going to write a love song to her right there on the air with her propagandist techniques. They say, "Oh, Tim he don't like black people." What? I didn't know Mark Lamont Hill was all black people. Nah. I support black people all the time. Just not him. Just not her. Are we stupid? Is that what we write down? Well, Tim, you don't talk about white people. Well, most of my audience don't give a damn about what's going on in white America because they see it all the time. It's everywhere. Black America is different because it's not publicized much. I grew up watching the $6 Million Man and the A-Team. It was one black person on the A-Team. You know what I'm saying? It was Mr. T. It was 8 white guys. You know what I'm saying? That's how. We grew up. I remember seeing Dukes of Hazzard, even though I didn't even know what Confederate meant. How many of y'all was kids and wanted the General Lee? I remember my older brother watching Starsky and Hutch. How many of y'all so old? Y'all remember your older brother watching the Benny Hill show? You be right there like this. Why you be slapping that old man in the head like that? We grew up, black people grew up watching a bunch of white people stuff. Because that's all there was. Couldn't wait till Fat Albert was on, what was it, Sunday? My point is this. I don't talk a whole lot about white people on my channel because, I do. Frankly, I do. But when it comes to my videos, the clips that I put out, when I'm going at potential people, I'll put it to you this way. My job is to try to educate Black Americans. And roasting Rachel Maddow, first of all, my audience is not going to watch that video. Don't nobody give a damn about Rachel Maddow. Hell, I did a video about Joy Reid and Mark Lamont Hill. A good portion of the people that watched that video was like, who's Joy Reid? And who's Mark Lamont Hill? I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. In fact, I got some stories I'm going to cover tonight. Some people ain't going to know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I think a pen exploded, but I can't get it to do it on demand. Where's the, I don't know. Maybe it came off the ink. Is my printer acting crazy? Could be my printer. Could be the printer, Johnson. How y'all doing though, man? Real talk, man. How's everybody feeling, man? I tell everybody all the time, say, look, man, this is nothing but a conversation. We just chopping it up. We chopping it up, man. Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Having a little conversation, exchanging thoughts. It's Wacky Wednesday on the Tim Black Show. Let me put that up for us, man. Put up my little, my little Wacky Wednesday joint. There we go. Put that up. I think I like the finishing touch. Gives you a feeling like he cares. Look at that. He cares about his audience. Put on a shirt with a tie and everything. Go ahead, Tim Black. We got a lot to do, a lot to cover tonight, man. I want to thank the people that come through. I want to recognize and remind people, damn, I washed my mug. Some gnats was down this joint, man. I've been trying to destroy the gnats, man. I forgot I had something in my cup and it can't do that, man. I had to wash my mug. I ain't bring my mug back downstairs. This show is brought to you today by the Tim Black Wolfpack. That's right, the Tim Black Wolfpack. Go to jointimblack.com. Become a VIP member of the Tim Black Show. Starting at only $5 a month, you get access to all our content, man. It's a lot of content. I put out buckets of content. And if you join now, you'll get access to everything. Put it that way, you get access to everything. We're approaching 200,000 subscribers. Yeah, man. 200,000 subscribers, man. Which would make YouTube my largest platform. You know, I was at 110, 20,000 on X or Twitter until I left the progressives. Now I'm at 90 something. I forget, 90 something. I go backwards on that. I can't get any traction on X. I used to be popular on Twitter. My Twitter is bad, man, but not as bad as my Instagram. But I'm good on Facebook. And Facebook, we're at over 150,000 on Facebook. So we've been doing our thing, man. But this 200 milestone on YouTube will be significant. And I will be bearing gifts to celebrate the 200,000 mark. I feel like we got to celebrate that, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. And I want to share it with the Tim Black Wolfpack, the people who made this possible. Yeah, man. Shout out to Mrs. Black for putting up with me doing this show all these years. Yeah, man. This channel itself has been around for over 12 years. My first channel, Tim Black Show, I started that a couple years before I started this one, because that one didn't focus on politics. It was just black stuff. Man, what are we doing? What are we doing here, man? Where's the energy, Johnson? Where's the energy? So we're going to jump off into the content, jump off into the content and make people recognize what it is, man, on Wacky Wednesday. Trying to load up some stuff, man. Make sure we are straight. So, and look, guys, and I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth in the chat. I think I'm good enough. I think we can do that tonight. We can do a little bouncing back and forth in the chat. So, like, leave your comments, your questions, and stuff. I want to interact with you tonight on the content because, frankly, I think those are our best shows, man, when we bounce stuff off the walls. I got a number of clips loaded up. And we got some clips loaded up, man, for the people, man, the Tim Black Show, and it's going down, fam. Y'all good? Well, let's get started, man. Let me check the comments real quick before we roll. Yeah. Yo. We ready? Oh, Ebony's in the house. Welcome, Ebony. How you doing, sis? Moderating today is Buck Bewley and Ebony. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's jump into it, man. ICE continues Epstein files. I got some other stuff, man. I hope we get to everything. I got a lot. So I got a lot of clips. We're going to make a lot of noise. Let's go. Time is on our side. Let's do it.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Just finished working with our city attorney to file a lawsuit because we have to stop this mess. You know, the idea of having troops go through the park and disrupt the children's summer camp or drive through the streets and just pick people off the streets. We don't know if a kidnapping is happening or what. And so our city attorney is leading the way. We're filing a lawsuit. We're calling for an injunction for this to stop. We need to remember who we are as a country. I'm very clear as to who we are as a city, and I'm clear about my job, which is to make sure that this city is safe for all Angelenos, regardless of when you came here, what country you came from, or why. We got to stop it. And I know, you know what? We're going to stand strong because this city is united. We are not divided, and we're not going to let anybody divide us.
Next on...
Yeah, you need to go ahead and tighten up that homeless population we got going on over there. But yo, man, this is interesting for her to say this, man. Yeah, she said she wants to file an injunction against Trump to stop the federal government from interfering in the island of LA. LA Island. I didn't know LA was its own country. I don't know, man. I went to Prince George's County, Maryland's public school system. What I know, but I thought the federal government was over the states. Yeah, that's what I thought, man. And it's strange when she says, "Hey, come up in the park, come up in the park and do a raid on the park." How that's somehow unlawful. Last time I checked, MacArthur Park was long plagued with serious issues: open-air drug markets, violence, gang activity, public safety concerns. I mean, it's notorious for these things. She ain't fixed none of that, but she's don't want the cops to come there. Sounds to me like if you got an open-air drug activity, gang activity, violence, and it's notorious for it, a safety concern, you'd want cops. I don't know. And there's local reports that MS-13 and 18th Street gang influence plagued the area. But she's like, She's looking around and say, oh, MS-13, 18th Street, whatever that is, I don't know. That's the gang, I'm guessing. Person with a fentanyl needle on their arm, person butt naked, high as hell, bathing in the pond. Y'all can stay. Get that cop out of here right now. Get that cop out of here. I'm going to file a lawsuit giving this cop over here. While these good people are consuming illegal drugs and threatening people with guns. Can't have that going on. They say that there is extortion occurring in the park by cartels, which occurs openly. I'm not making this up. They got cartels extorting citizens and businesses in Los Angeles. And she's talking about, don't come in the park. ICE. But see, let's get down to the other part. The other part's just as interesting. The Department of Homeland Security did not arrest anybody on this day. It just walked through. It was like a show of force to remind people, hey, we can come through here. They actually didn't take anybody with them. They just walked through. And that's crazy enough. And I guess because it's a sanctuary city, she thinks that it's its own island. But this thing about kidnappings, Bass's lawsuits claiming that raids are unconstitutional ignores federal government's prerogative to enforce the immigration laws. Yeah, you're still American citizens. You're still in America. It ain't Mexico. It may have been Mexico 300 years ago, or 250 years ago, whatever, but it ain't 200 years ago. It's 2025. And LA is America. Yeah, that's what it is. Sometimes people, they lose track of time. Sort of like when you took the train, the plane out of the country during the fire season and forgot that the fire season is a time when there might be fires. Well, yeah, I know how it is. Get all caught up in that lopsided budget. What can we expect, man? I get it, man. You got a lot going on. Current Bass making these types of posts, some people might call it obstruction. They might call it obstruction because it sounds like she's trying to prevent ICE from doing their job. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Yeah, it's a federal responsibility for ICE to do its job. Look, as a Black American who advocates for Black Americans, well, as an advocate for Black Americans, because you ain't got to be a Black American to advocate for Black Americans. Now, you could be anybody to advocate for Black Americans. All you got to do is look at the numbers and be like, I want to help the people that's catching the most hell. Oh, Black Americans. But see, some groups don't do that. They go and say, oh, I want to help these people over here. And help these people and these people and these people. Why don't you help the people that are hurt the most? Anyway, my point is, her claim that the raids target innocent people overlooks data showing that ICE prioritizes those with criminal records. 70% of recent detainees have charges or convictions. 70%. That's a pretty good ratio. You know, when the feds or any cops are messing with the blacks, when they're pulling our black ass over for just being black, they got a far less successful ratio than 70%. Yeah, Johnson, when the cops are randomly when the Prince George's County Police, for instance, or the Charles County Police or the DC District Pound, when the feds mess with us, their rate is a lot less than 70. You know, they just basically throw some stuff on the wall and see if it sticks. They just go after anybody they see that's black. They don't care. You know, if you ain't got if you got a new car, they pull you over because they think you're a drug dealer. If you got an old car, they pull you over because they think you don't have insurance. And the only thing consistent is if you black, you're more likely to be pulled over anyway. It don't matter. You can't win. Maybe if you got a mid-model Honda Accord with no tents and no music playing and don't have a hat on your head, maybe then you're safe. Unless it's quota time on the tickets. Then they pull you over anyway. You really can't win, is what I'm trying to say. Current Bass, if you cared about people being harassed by police, you would have been doing something way before Trump got in office, man. Where you been? Has ICE been not doing their job in Cali? Under Biden? You were the mayor under Biden. It's kind of strange. Maybe it was Biden who wasn't doing his job. And I got a feeling if he was doing his job, you've been a lot less loud about it. Yeah, you've been a lot less loud. You'd be more quiet if it was Biden and his crew. Suing off the operations task, exasperating the park's lawlessness, undermining public safety, and challenging established legal precedent. Yes, that's right, Current Bass. You, Current Bass, are in violation. That's why I got to get this clip, Current Bass. I gotta call it like I see it, Johnson.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, I think she is.
Full of shit.
It's been a while since I used it, but hey, I have the tools. Why not use them? And Lord knows it's applicable to Current Bass. Next story.
Deck with Tim Black.
You send the U.S. Marines into spaces they should not be. You send the National Guard in. You kidnap people off of the streets and pretend that's normal, because that's how you quiet dissent, because you make everyone afraid that if they don't do what you want, they might be next. And once you've done those 9 steps, step 10 is easy. That's when you decide there won't be new elections, because everyone's either afraid, poor, broken, or complicit.
Normalizing a government agency disappearing people. We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps, both domestic and foreign. That is not.
I think that's kind of insulting to, you know,
I think it's
Jewish
insulting what they're
Holocaust
doing.
survivors.
It is not.
Not gonna make it.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
You know, Tiffany Cross and Governor for Life, who was not elected governor for even a moment, Stacey Abrams, they have one thing in common, that is gaslighting. Yeah, they're gaslighting about this whole thing. They call it abductions, kidnappings. The real term I think they're looking for is lawful actions under U.S. immigration law. Yeah, I think that's what they meant to say. They meant to say, I think what they meant. I think what my sisters mean is that they don't like that the Trump administration is doing their jobs. Yeah, that's what it is. They're so used to Democrats not doing their jobs Then when Republicans come in and actually do their jobs, it's a problem. Oh no, doing their jobs. When individuals are detained, it's typically due to violations of immigration status, which, regardless of what Jasmine Crockett says, is against the law. And look, often following the process like immigration hearings or final removal orders. When individuals are detained, it's due to violations to their immigration status, often following due process like immigration hearings or final removal orders. For example, ICE prioritizes detaining issues, those with criminal convictions. As I pointed out earlier, 70% of those detained had violations. And as far as disappearances, that's BS. We're talking about targeted enforcement actions. Now, they serve warrants for most of these. They serve warrants. They don't just go randomly outside and just walk around. Come here, Latino brown person. They'll just do, who would do that? They're following a warrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, cops do that. Cops just drive around just looking for people. That's what black people had to deal with. This is not what, I'm tired of people not understanding what the difference is. They're not treating these folks like black people, because if they were, they would need warrants. They would not need to do any preliminary work. If you go, they go to the Home Depot because that's a place where illegal activity of being there illegally is taking place. Okay? Nobody will say shit if the cops go to the trap house. They'd be like, okay, black people, I don't know who in the trap house, but if you go to the place where they're selling illegal narcotics, nobody goes, oh my God, here they come again. How dare they come to the illegal drug house? You know, before dispensaries. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not illegal now. So it's a big difference here. Tiffany Cross and Stacey Abrams have a problem with the English language. The words mean stuff. And for you to call it abductions and kidnappings, snatch them off the street, don't know who snatched them. Well, you thought it was a drug cartel? Now, these are just things they're saying to gaslight. That's what they're doing. They got nothing else. Stop trying to pretend that what's happening to these folks is the same thing that happens to us every damn day. Hell, it happens to white folks too. Cops, there are a lot of towns where there are no black people, they gotta arrest white people. Then they go for the poor whites. Okay? They got to. That's how they make them income run. You know, there are a lot of towns across this country where the number one industry is jails and prisons. They gotta lock up people, or they can't make the rent. And that's what they're leaving out. And that's one of the things that really ticks me off, guys, is these people, they're really upset about something that's been occurring all this time, but it wasn't occurring to their future voting block, their new future prize voting block, which is undocumented Latinos. Let's keep going.
Not insulting to Jewish health. I find it insulting that you could even fix your mouth to defend this.
Did you hear this? This is why she lost her job on MSNBC. Not because she's black, but because she talks like that. That's a horrible way to be, man. Jesus Christ. That you would even fix your mouth. Listen to this. That's, if she wasn't fired, I'd say fire her, but she's already been fired. Who talks like that? Now, folks, I want y'all to be honest with me for a second. Be honest. Black America, be honest with me, please. Like I said, we're just having a conversation. But if a white woman was on CNN right now, she would have said that to Tiffany Cross or any black woman. How upset would you be? Now, I know I'm not going to say it's the same thing, because it's not, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, why would you say that to a person? Like, what is this? Look, man, it's a Jasmine Crocketing of the Democratic Party, man. Now, Tiffany will say she's not a Democrat, but she capes like hell for every Democratic policy. So if you're not a trapeze if you're not a trapeze artist, what are you doing up there on them wires? Look like a trapeze artist to me. But I'm not a trapeze artist. Then why are you up there? This is crazy, Johnson. She talk reckless. Old girl might meet her ass outside and have something for her.
Behavior.
It's not a death
It
camp.
doesn't matter. It's a concentration camp what they're doing, and they are disappearing people, claiming.
She said it's a concentration camp. See that whole argument, fam, that right there, that's
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
the whole argument really ticks me off, man, because we all know what they did to Kyrie Irving. You know what they did to Kyrie Irving? Because he shared a video clip, like he shared a movie a link to a movie on Amazon. It was about I don't know, Hebrew Israelites or something. I forget what it was about. I never watched the movie. But they got mad. He just shared a link. He didn't even say anything. He wasn't like, everybody go watch this. But they went after him, man. You know, the Anti-Defamation League went after Kyrie Irving. He had to sit down for a while. You know, and I'm wondering why they're not going out to all the Democrats are making the correlation that a air-conditioned place indoors where food is served is akin to a concentration camp. We know concentration camps, as we remember them from the movies, from the shows that we saw them on, like the ones in Auschwitz, people didn't leave from those. Nah, those were torture chambers where people were systematically exterminated. Why would you even want to conjure such imagery? Why would you want to use such heavy-handed, over-the-top comparisons? Ain't nobody, they can't cite anything even remotely similar to that type of situation in these detention centers, but they're using that type of language. People say, Tim Black, man, why are you so hard on the Democrats, man? Shit like this. But I'm wondering, why the hypocrisy? Why is it the Anti-Defamation League? Why aren't they coming out and saying, hey, man, how dare you do this? How dare you use this historical context to compare it? You know, I feel every time I hear people comparing having a job that gives you wages, that pays you, to slavery, I feel the same way. I feel like, man, what are you talking about? It's like slavery, man. I'm like, you got a paycheck, though. Not as much as I want, but it's not slavery. Slaves didn't get paychecks, goofy. But see, I don't have no power. The ADL has a lot of power. Whenever you overcross the line, here they come. But see, they don't come out to Democrats. Let it be unknown black people on Twitter or X or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, making similar claims that ingest or for convenience would utilize Jewish people in a way as to tokenize them in order to make a point. You know, you see some stuff. I just think it's foul as hell, man, and it's just crazy. And it's only to gaslight other people. It's to gaslight the audience and to go frantic. Man, this is just preposterous, man. This is garbage. It's horrible. It's horrific. Tiffany Cross is not a serious person. She's a propagandist, and I see why she got fired. And once again, she should be fired again. This is garbage. You shouldn't be able to do this. All of this, you know, guys, people die in prisons all the time. But I never heard Tiffany Cross refer to any prison that houses U.S. citizens as concentration camps. Man, I was covering Rikers. I've covered some footage about Rikers, about the overcrowding, the sleeping on top of one another, the deaths, the suicide, all of that. And I've never heard Tiffany or anybody in her little group, her clique, refer to that as concentration camps. But let you sprinkle in some Latino detention people, illegal aliens, whatever, you undocumented. Let you sprinkle that in. Now it's concentration camps.
That these are people who have committed the most harsh crimes, but according to the reporting, less than 10% of these people have committed harsh crimes. So to do the victim Olympics and decide who had...
She said harsh crimes. What's a harsh crime, Tiffany? What's a harsh crime? Hey, I know. Hey, look, more black people in jail right now in the United States who had a warrant for driving on a suspended license than are Latinos in jail for being illegal in the country. Yeah, let me repeat that. Let me get on the screen here. Here you go, Tiffany Cross. More black Americans are in jail right now because they can't make bail on stupid traffic offenses than all the Latinos who are in jail for being here illegally. I don't care what their charges are besides that. Okay? But there are more black men in jail in America right now. You know that group of people that you don't seem to ever talk about unless you got something disparaging to say? Remember them people, those males that you like to talk shit about? That you used to talk? Remember that? I remember you. There are more of us in jail, sister, for traffic crimes than these undocumented people who are not citizens of this country, who are not legally here because they haven't gone through the process to be legally here. So you don't know what these people are. They could be anything. 12 million people came through our border unvetted. And you don't care until it's your children or your sister. I guess you wouldn't care if it was us. That something bad happens to them because of one of these people, then you would be a different person. Okay? But I stand by my claim. More black men are in jail right now. Bump that. More black men are in jail now, not even for real crimes, for administrative errors. For administrative errors, and all the Latinos who are here, who are in jail right now or in detention centers due to being undocumented and waiting for to be reprimanded back to their country. But you ain't got a mumbling word to say about us. You ain't doing no segments. You ain't calling it concentration camps. You ain't jumping out the gym. And that's, folks, that's because they don't care about us. And that's my problem with the Democratic Party. They don't care about us. We're just a means to an end. Just like these Latino folks. But they see a use for them. They see a usefulness in this because they think it hurts Trump. Trump ain't running again. Trump is done. He beat y'all twice. It's over. But that don't stop y'all from throwing stuff against the wall and trying to see if it sticks. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Make it make sense.
It worse. I can tell you, I can participate in that too. And everybody who says, "Oh, this is not the America I know," I can guarantee you, it is the America I know. Can I finish my point, please?
Yes.
We are the fact that we're presenting this like it's political fodder, that a government agency is disappearing people. It is not
disappearing people. You said that 3 times. This goofball sitting next to you, I see them too. He never says anything of truly of sincerity. Have I ever heard him say? Another one of those is here to be bleeding hearts for the immigrants. The undocumented immigrants. When she said serious, she said serious crimes. ICE prioritizes detaining those who had criminal charges or convictions, including serious offenses like murder or assault. Per White House statements, these are not random disappearances, but targeted enforcement actions, often with judicial oversight to uphold border security and public safety. Comparing this to concentration camps is just a bridge too far. Kidnappings inflates the term beyond reason. Tiffany Cross, you way out the gym on this. You are far gone. And the only reason why you get to do it is because you're on a network that allows for such garbage. You undermine the gravity of historical atrocities like the Holocaust and dismiss the legal framework governing the immigration enforcement, which makes Black Americans less safe not only in the terms of crime, but also from safety in the form of access to resources that we paid for with our tax dollars in our local communities. Yeah, there's something to be said about the dilution of our resources in the communities that we reside in. Because where typically do these undocumented people end up being at? Do you think they're going to go to Beverly Hills? They're going to go to Fort DuPont Circle? Where do you think they're going to go in D.C.? They're going to go to the posh neighborhoods over there in the upper Northwest? Nah, that ain't where they end up at. They end up living near us.
A political point. It has nothing to do with Jewish people, because despite the fact that 20% of immigrants in this country are white, we do not see white people getting carted off.
She said it does, and that's why she got so upset. She got upset because the white lady said, hey, what are you doing calling us concentration camps? That's an offense to Jewish people. And then she shouted down the white lady to say, no, it's not. No, when I use that language, I don't mean Jewish people when I use concentration camp. She started talking fast. Yeah, because she put her foot in her own. She put her foot on herself. Damn, man. I got to thank you, Tiffany, for coming back, man, because without you, oh, man.
Gaslight alert.
I might not have had the opportunity to use my gaslight alert detector. Thank you.
Off to concentration camps. So if we can just focus on the people who are harmed the most by this, and not make yourself or somebody else the center of attention when.
No, I just proved to you who's harmed the most by this. By what? By a justice system or injustice system? Us. We already know the numbers. We already know who that is. Tiffany. We know who's harmed the most by an unjust and unjust system. That will be us. But you ain't up there losing, going buck wild over us, are you? Nah, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Instead, you like to jump up on your high horse for feminist reasons and for the undocumented immigrant. If you ain't a Democrat, you need to go find out why not, because you sure as hell sound like one.
That's not who's getting impacted by this.
Jewish, but I'm saying,
or anyone else, the center of attention.
Tensions are so heightened. Using that kind of language, I think, is not helpful.
The tensions are heightened because this.
See how, Lord, where is Abby? Abby Phillip, get control of your show. Boy, man.
BS administration is kidnapping people. It has nothing to do with my.
She said kidnap 5 times. Where's the ransom? Yeah, how much, what's the going rate on a undocumented, non-English speaking, I don't know, what's the kidnap, what's the transfer rate? What's the transaction about? What are we talking about? Kidnapping. You know, typically when people kidnap you, they want something. What would we possibly, what do ICE want? What are you saying? Are you saying this is, what are you saying? There's a human trafficking going on? Is that what you're saying?
Language, it has to do with the actions that are being taken by this administration.
How many people have been disappeared that you've never heard from again, and we don't know anything about them or where they've gone?
Thousands of people.
And
are you
never
serious?
Heard about them, where they're going? Nothing really.
Are you a reporter? Are you not a reporter? Yes, thousands of people.
We managed to find
thousands
people in El Salvadoran prisons who, were so
I'm sorry,
bad.
I just want to be clear. Are you defending what's happening in this administration?
I am not defending. I'm saying let's be accurate about what's happening.
I'm being very accurate, and it is very disgusting what this administration is doing. And 10, 5, 6 months, 20 years from now, I hope that you can.
What, deporting people? Deporting people who are not supposed to be in this country, have not gone through the process. You think that somehow the history books are going to be negative? They're going to negatively report on this. Nah, man. No, they're not. They're just not going to do it. They didn't negatively report on Obama when he was setting record numbers and doing the same thing. And neither did you, Tiffany, and you had a show at the time. Damn, that's something, man. Tiffany, hey, look, folks, you wouldn't think Tiffany Cross didn't have a show. She was an anchor on MSNBC for a spin. And during that time, Obama was president. I do not recall her doing, giving such, emotionally ranting about the Obama years, where the porter in chief, the true creator of the people in cages, kids in cages, that was Obama. And I don't recall, man. I have to go back and check the archives. I cannot say with 100% certainty, but I'll say I'm a guess. I'm being the high 90s here. I'm 90-something% sure that I don't think Tiffany Cross held many segments where she attacked. She ran it on Obama's and his administration's kids in cages, deportations, even though they were setting record numbers. Let's keep going, Johnson. So that's why you tuned into the Tim Black Show.
Look back at this very clip and realize that you were on the wrong side of history if you're trying to remotely defend what's happening. There are five.
We look back on this clip, we're going to remember this is why you don't have a job. This clip right here, we're going to remember you. I don't know what audience she's talking to. She's just trying to get, a lot of people that you're talking to right now don't have TVs. And they're not in this country. You're talking to people in Mexico or Guatemala, like Venezuela. That's what she's talking to. That's her audience. Because Black Americans who buy into this at the detriment of their own communities, that's where they need to go. They need to move to Guatemala, move to Mexico, move to Venezuela with these deportees. Since you so focused about them saying you're so insistent on them staying in America so they can mow your lawn and pick your grapes. Go live amongst them. They love to welcome you. Mexico particularly would not. They do not want you, gringo. They got signs. They got spray paints. They got day Antifa. They don't want you, elitists, whites or blacks, coming to their country, running up their prices of rent and housing. See, because other countries ain't that different than America, sister. In fact, they're worse on immigration. We have some of the least stringent immigration laws than several other westernized countries. Try this shit in Australia, Sweden. Try it. Try Germany. Try it out. All right, Johnson, let's go.
Mothers, and young people who are being
Poland's great. Try Poland.
carted off to concentration camps, and less than 10% of these people have committed any sort of violent crime. They are.
You say the same thing 15 times, and Abby would not get off the subject to let her out. She said the same thing about 10 times, Johnson. I got to move on.
Never to see their families
Right,
again.
Next on
Never to see their families again. You can see them. Won't y'all just move back to Venezuela? Yeah, I'm not going, you know what, guys? I'm not going to, look, I'm not going to get off my square here. I'm just not going to do it. We got a lot of people that call themselves intellectuals. We got a lot of people that for some reason have been picked by the establishment that they are black leaders, like Al Sharpton, Jamal Bryant. They won't look into the camera. They will not look in the camera instead of for black people when it comes to immigration. Instead, they want to be loved by the Democratic Party because they are really not black supporters or black advocates. They are Democratic Party operatives. The immigration policies of the Joe Biden administration, the Democrats at large, the Democratic Party platform is anti-black, in part due to the immigration policies. In fact, due to the repercussions that we face due to the immigration program. Clyde Anderson put it very well when he said, we haven't moved but an inch in prosperity. All right, let's keep it going, Johnson. Hit the like button, folks. Let me know how you are doing. How we are doing. We ain't on the wrong side of history. We're on the survival side of history. That's it. Ferocious. There we go. Ferocious. Give it up for that brother. We're on the right side of history, the survival side of history. Shout out to my brothers at Reset Race. You know you got a bar. My brother Mud said, we're not the working class, we're the hurting class. And Tiffany Cross She ain't like us. That's all it is. She ain't like us. They like the black culture songs, but they don't listen to the lyrics. They don't listen to the lyrics, Johnson. They'll dance to it, get in there and do a line dance, pose to the camera, her and Angela Rye, but they do not listen to the lyrics, Johnson. They think the lyrics are about them making more money than their husband, their husbands. And not let that man tell them what to do. They skip right over the part where the struggle part. Yeah. All right, family, let's keep it moving, Johnson. I'm trying to tell you. I came to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
With Tim Black.
At this point, do you support Mamdani's candidacy as the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York?
Absolutely, I do. I support Democratic nominees. The fact of the matter is, my relationship with Cuomo goes back to when he was Secretary of HUD, and the South Carolina got one of those empowerment zones.
Man, if you don't get Clyburn off here, man, what y'all doing to him? Clyburn, it's time to retire. Your mind is a sundown town at this point. Y'all let this man go out, man. He's over 80-something years old. Him and Joe need to go. Clyburn, I've done a lot of impersonations of you, but it's obvious to continue to do so with your current state would only be disrespectful. This interview is an atrocity. What are you even talking about?
Because of his help, it happens to be Sumter, Columbia.
I'm sorry, guys.
New York?
Absolutely, I do. I support Democratic nominees. The fact of the matter is, my relationship with Cuomo goes back to when he was Secretary of HUD, and the South Carolina got one of those empowerment zones because of his help. It happens to be Sumter, Columbia, empowerment zone.
So, just to be clear, you support Mamdani's running, or I guess his position as the Democratic primary winner. Is that an endorsement? Are you endorsing him as mayor of New York City?
I support the Democratic nominee.
Anybody they put up, anybody that's Democrat except Bernie Sanders and AOC and Nina Turner, anybody that the Democrats have told me to support who is Democrats that are the right type of Democrats or the type of Democrats I support.
He is the nominee.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Man, hold on a second, guys. Look, man. Lord have mercy. Zohan Mamdani is a rich-ass kid saying a bunch of nonsense in order to get elected. You know, people that fell for it, mostly the liberals. Yeah, you know, the liberal whites, fine. Have at it. Have your whatever this is. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But this is horrible. This Jim Clyburn, I mean, he overshadowed this whole clip because he is so out of tune or out of wits that it's just embarrassing, frankly. And I'm not upset at that at all. He needs to go sit down. That's what needs to happen. Let this go. Representative Clyburn, just let this go. It all is for us at some point. Clyburn. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going.
Hey, mira. You guys guys need a warrant to come in here. Property. This is a fucking business. You guys are even identifying yourselves. Identify yourself. Look, dame la. Where's your badge? ID? Where's your ID?
They always tell us don't resist. Don't they tell us that? Just as they choke us out until we're not alive anymore. Isn't that what they tell us? You should have just listened. You should have just listened. Yeah, I'm not gonna be your magical Negro and try to defend the undocumented people here from going through what we go through all the time. I just noticed the rhetoric is totally different. Yeah, I'm not gonna play your savior here. Nope. I'm gonna say comply, sir. Why aren't you complying? Why is it such a problem? Look, guys, unless you've never been to your country, and if you've never been to your own country, to that country, then your country's U.S. I don't understand what the big complaint is. Like, if you are here and you're going to get deported, that's because you were there before. Because if you were never there before, you would be a citizen. And then I say they're dead wrong. And if they deport you, sue the shit out of them. But they can't deport you if you're a citizen. So I'm trying to understand, what is all this about? That brother's he ain't just crying, he's howling. Like, where are they sending you to? The Bermuda Triangle? See, they got tired of playing with his ass. They did that to us they did that to Oregano over some cigarettes. Not even a pack. A loose cigarette. He sold somebody a loose cigarette, and they choked the shit out of Oregano and killed him in broad daylight on a Staten Island street. But I'm to be crying river over this guy? Come on, man.
Next on deck.
Nah, I'm not gonna do it.
We know that Epstein recorded everything, at least from what we've seen in reports. And you're talking about child exploitation, you're talking about abuse of young girls, of young age women. Whether it's Democrats or Republicans, as someone who has a daughter, I want those people locked the hell up. We have a right to know if there are politicians and people in power who participated, who facilitated, those people should be in prison. And so regardless of your views of MAGA world or Trump, at a minimum, I would say as a society, we don't want those people on the streets. I mean, I want to remind people.
I totally agree.
If you guys recall, a year or two ago, you think about Bill Gates and his former wife, and she was asked about why she divorced him. And one of the reasons listed was because her former husband was hanging out with this guy, and she never understood why. And so why should powerful, wealthy people, whether it's in politics or business, be absolved of being held accountable? I don't agree with that at all.
I don't think anybody's.
Next on deck.
I gotta say something, man, and it's kind of I got a lot to say, but I'll say this: should be one topic that Democrats and Republicans agree on and they both support. Yeah, this should be something they support because remember, like, we all should want anybody involved in. Of course, we're talking about the Epstein file case, right? Because anybody that will be in these files, it should not be coddled. There should be public interest and accountability. And that should go beyond the party thing. But here's what I know, guys. The Republicans that are supporting it are bold enough and open enough and honest enough to say, hey, this information should be handed over. I believe there's more information and it's not being handed over. It's in the public interest that it be handed over for accountability purposes. It should be handed over. Those are better than the Democrats, because the Democrats would not be saying that if it was the Biden administration. I do not believe that the Democrats would go against Biden and say his administration here's the DOJ should return that information or hand that information over. I just don't see him doing it. They're only saying something now because it is Trump. Yeah, that's why they're so mouthy. They wouldn't be mouthy under Biden. Guys, Biden was a walking corpse. He was weaker than Bernie's. Bernie Sanders made Biden look like weaker than Bernie's. Okay? And these people were quiet the whole time. They denied anything was wrong. They were lying, saying this guy is a picture of health. Sharpest guy in the room. Nah, those people would not, absolutely not, they would not come forth. They would not stand on their square and say, hey, we need to know what's going on with these Epstein files.
With Tim Black.
To your point about this 1 minute missing, listen, when I worked for the Department of Justice, you work hand in hand when there's a guilty verdict with the Bureau of Prisons and you make recommendations. The Bureau of Prisons used to be very, very regulated. I find it very suspicious that there is a minute missing and that there's only one camera angle. I have been inside of the MDC. I've been inside of Rikers. There were cameras everywhere. So I find that the fact that there's missing documentation, that doesn't make sense.
Next on deck.
Hey, man, I got to say something. I didn't know I was going to have to say this, man, but I agree with Sonny. Yeah, she's right about that. I don't believe there's only one camera angle. And if it's a missing minute, that's probably the minute we're looking for. Yeah, you redact the names of the victims. I get that. Redact the names of the victims. Maintain the secrecy, the identity of victims. But everybody else, let her rip. Let her rip. That's the obligation. And what's horrible about it is, like Pam Bondi and these others, and it was Vikesh or Vilesh, what is his name? I forget his name. Cash. They ran on this. They ran on being different. They ran on transparency. Trump ran on transparency. And what's happening? So victim justice. The documents may reveal additional evidence about Epstein's network. Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail. Epstein is dead. And only people left are the people that were involved in his network. And those are the people that we should know about. For us to pretend, for the Trump administration to pretend that all of that just disappeared is bullshit. For them to pretend that those networks don't still exist. They do. Unless you are goofy enough to believe that Epstein invented trafficking. Who believes that? Nobody with any common sense. Just to counter the conspiracy theories that are out there, you would think they would want to release it. The partial releases, like the February 2025 Phase 1 documents, have fueled skepticism due to their lack of new revelations and the heavy redactions. It was like that never even happened. It only made things worse. And now this whole, we don't have anything we don't have anything. We released everything. Nah, we're not buying it. No one's buying it, Johnson. No one's buying it.
With Tim Black.
While there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Now, sure, of course, redact the names and identifying characteristics of the victims. But why not make the victim and witness testimonies public? As Julie Brown points out, there's still so much we don't know from the investigations by U.S. attorneys in Miami and in New York, witness interviews in the U.S.
Hey, look, by the way, guys, this is all standard practice with other cases. Like, they release the information about the accounts and just redact the names of the victims. They call them victim A or victim B or whatever the hell it is. And remember, it was Pam Bondi, the Attorney General herself, who said they had a trove of documents. She literally said it. So the inconsistencies that were created by members of the Trump administration are what puts themselves behind the 8-ball here, guys. I mean, if you say you got the docs and we say, where's the beef? Show us the beef, Johnson. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say we had documents, we have a treasure trove, show the treasure trove. Give me all you got. Give me all you got. You be there too.
U.S. Virgin Islands and New Mexico. Brown writes that there's still more evidence that hasn't been published, including, quote, Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has ever been made public. So while there may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public, despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed.
Next.
Yeah, I gotta go with Tapper here, man. And I usually tap out when it comes to Tapper, but I gotta say he's right about this. I totally agree. This ain't about party politics. I could give a damn about that. If you have any sense of justice or a sense of self-preservation, frankly, or if you have any humanity about potential victims and continuing victimization of people, you want this stuff brought to light. None of these rich bastards, let's get it true, let's keep it real. Ain't no broke ass people doing anything like this. Takes money to be able to do this. So we're talking about people of influence and power. And Epstein wouldn't be inviting you up there if you were just some poor Joe to partaketh. Okay? So the people that we're talking about here, we're going to have to be people with money, with means, or with power. That's who we're talking about, and that's why they're dragging their feet. And that's why we say the government's covering this thing up. So, you know, if you look at it for what it is, you got a government cover-up. You have possibly state influence, interference. Like, it might not even be Trump and his people. It could be, you know, other mechanisms that are in play here. Could be some other stuff going on. But see, that's the whole reason why people wanted Trump. They thought Trump was going to be different. And what a slap in the face for the MAGA crowd when he goes and he does basically on this issue, he basically does status quo. He does exactly what Biden would have done. I don't see the difference between him and Biden right now. I don't see a difference between him and Obama right now. Because at the end of the day, the information ain't come out. That's the same thing Hillary would have done. And that's the same thing Trump is doing. And if you can't call balls and strikes, you struck out. Let's jump to a couple comments, man. I got to see what my people think about that, man. Yeah, what are my people saying? I encourage more audience members to subscribe. This show delivers a point of view, analysis, and opinions are provocative and challenge a growth mindset. I try to, fam. I ain't falling in line with none of these people. None of these parties, fam. Thank you, WD. I want to get your point of view, man. I don't have a co-host, but I can let my audience be my co-host. Someone said it. Sherry Covington says Trump's name might come up. No, so this is why. Now look, give it up for that. I'm so glad you brought that up, Sherry. I'm so glad you brought that up. So let me address that. I don't think Trump's name is in these documents. Yeah, I don't think Trump's name is in these documents because they had these documents when Biden was in office. And if Trump's name was in these documents, they would have leaked that shit long time ago. Come on, Sherry. Think about it. I think Biden and the Democratic Party and the State Department and others, I don't believe that the alphabet soup of the CIAs and the FBIs and these top secret folks, I don't think they would have let that opportunity go. They definitely would have came out to Donald Trump. They definitely would have released the information. So this, to me, the fact it wasn't released. Don't get me wrong, it's possible. It's possible. You're right. But I'm going to say I'm 80% sure his name's not in it just for that fact. Because they are so petty. They throw somebody own under the bus to get Trump out the way. Come on, Johnson. They're willing to do that. Come on now. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. They're willing to sacrifice their own to give it to Trump. They would have released that on Sunday. They released it 6 days a week and twice on Sundays if it was Trump's name in there. Biden would have gift wrapped to you. They had a press conference. They'd have named it a holiday, the Trump holiday. The Trump goes down day. Oh, my God. Come on now. You know they would have done it. You know they would have done it. Rachel Maddow did 3 weeks of coverage of Trump's tax returns. Imagine how much play MSNBC would have got out of this. There it is. They can't release it if their corporate donors are on it. There it is. There it is. There it is. I love it. Yeah. What's more important than Trump? Corporate donors. Yeah, baby. They spit it. 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 Yo. Sarah Pro says that is you at the CIA and the M16. M16. That's the Europe, right? MS. What was it? The M. Yeah. Says people don't understand there's more than one list. There's more than one list. Okay, so that's the people that engage, and then the people that what? Tell me the name. Tell me the different list, fam. IB. What's the different list, fam? So there's a list of those who engaged, and there's a list of those who were being filmed. Is that what you're saying? The people that are being extorted? IB, keep it going, fam. I appreciate you. Mahal Yao says, Mahal Yao Naturals said yes, Tim. So we got a delay, so I don't know what their yes is to. Follow the money, says Catherine. M13, got you. Hey, look. When he was trying to, when they were asking, damn, where is that clip? There is a clip that is hilarious. It's of Donald Trump at a press conference with Pam Bondi. They asked a question, and Trump looked pretty, he looked pretty guilty. I will give you that. That sounded pretty guilty. It sounded bad. Because he was like, oh, hold on a second. You mean you're asking about this? You want to know about Epstein? You're still talking about this guy? We got real things going on, like I don't know. I need golf. I need to play golf this weekend. And there was a cat that ran under a tree. Oh yeah, Texas. Yeah, there's horrible things too, like Texas. And you're asking about Epstein? It's been years. Scott been dead for years. Why are you asking about that? But go ahead, Pam. If you got an answer, go ahead. Go ahead. MI6. And that's Europe, right? Those are people in Europe, right? That's their version of our NSA, right? That's their people, right? MI6. There you go. On which one? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. On which one, fam? Yeah. You typed the answer already. Damn it, IB, I gotta go. Where's the smoke for the Will Smith and Tom Hanks? What? I heard this. Is any truth to this? Now, don't get my channel shut down, but go ahead, though. Oh, here we go. One list is the list of flight logs. So we got one list, and that list is the list of flight logs to the island. The other list is flight logs of random trips. People used his planes. Hey, look, man, this is great. I can't wait to put this out. Anybody commenting on this, know that you're going to be in the video that I put out. You will be in the video. I want to include this in the clip. Trump is the protection for the elite that's on the list. They all stick together. Party affiliation doesn't matter. Party affiliation doesn't matter. Money does. Abdul Mateen 19 up in the building. Let me put this. I don't know if I put this on the screen. Where's the smoke for Will Smith and Tom Hanks? What? Yeah, Will Smith, he deserved all the smoke. He's on the list of horrible rap songs released in 2025. What was he thinking about, Johnson? All right. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for participating in that, man. That was something else, man. I thank you. I appreciate y'all. Throwing stuff in there I didn't know about it. Stuff, points of view.
On Deck with Tim Black.
You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie. The LGB community needs a divorce from the TQ plus. Not a separation, not a break, a full-blown, court-stamped, assets divided, move out by Friday, divorce. Because we need to make something very, very clear here. LGB, that's just sexual preference. Yeah, me as a guy, I just like other guys. That's it. Not a pronoun party and not a gender celebration. Just good old-fashioned same-sex attraction. That's it. Now the TQ plus, oh, that's not a sexual preference. No, no, no. That is an identity crisis center with a revolving door. You walk in as she, her, and come out as a two-spirited they-them dragon king. What? LGB says, love is love. The TQ plus says, yeah, I'm a non-binary lesbian with a penis, and if you don't date me, you're a bigot. I'm sorry, but when did being gay turn into navigating someone else's delusions? Yeah, I didn't sign up for that shit. We used to fight for acceptance, now we're being guilt-tripped into co-signing on someone's fantasy. I don't think so. Let me tell you something. I didn't come out of the closet just to be shoved in another one. I know the difference between a man and a woman. So yes, the LGB wants a divorce stat. We are filing for custody, for common sense, supervised visits with reality, and a permanent restraining order against the woke mob. No hard feelings, just facts. Call it harsh, call me hateful, call me whatever you want. What you can't call me is a liar. I'm just saying what's on everybody else's mind, and it's been long overdue. I want to hear from you guys. You think LGB needs to divorce the TQ plus? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, love you guys. Peace.
Next on Deck.
You know what? I saw this clip and I wanted to include it because frankly, I like stirring the pot. And I want to point it out. My brother from Reset Race, he's like, yo, man, everybody's delineating, which is everybody's like doing it. All these other groups are on this, want to stand separately from other groups at this point. And we've been talking a lot about Black Americans not wanting to be grouped with everybody who's brown skin or who's black skinned or black, and making Black American a specific group because we are a specific group. Okay. But this is something that's not new right here. This particular clip, the first time I heard this, I think I was watching Dave Chappelle's show, and he was one of his comedy routines. He had a long bit about a car ride with different people from different orientations, right? And he was saying how there was an ongoing battle within the gay community about this topic. I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going with this other than to say I find it very interesting. It's not something that you're going to hear in mainstream media because, see, the Democrats want to fight. They want to fight on all these different grounds, but they really don't represent the people that they're fighting for. Not truly. Because if they did, they point out the nuances and how many people in the LGBTQ, many people in the LGB do not agree. It don't want their issues lumped in with the other people. So anyway, this is something to consider. Something to consider. Yeah. Fine. Move it on.
With Tim Black.
Listen, I got to tell you, if you want to have the fight, I'll have the fight, okay? If you want to try to tell me that you believe that you somehow represent something more pure when, if you're on the left, you just had 10 young people try to kill ICE officers because their policies suck, because the way they're doing it is wrong, and this is something you want to get behind? And say, yeah, well, but, what but? What are you, nuts? If you want to have a fight, I'm here for it. Okay? Because these fringe people on either side, you want somebody to take you on, I'm here for it. Because you're killing us with your crazy. What happened with these kids, these young people, I'm old, everybody's young to me. This was planned, it was organized, they baited, they picked the date, they were heavily harmed. I'm telling you, this could just have easily been an ISIS operation. And we would want to kill an entire country again. And yet now, this is no big deal. This is no big deal.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Tonight, we're getting stunning new details about how they did it. They were clad in black tactical gear. The complaint says the group lured DHS corrections officers outside by shooting fireworks at the detention center building. So agents called 911, and then they went outside to investigate and talk to the suspects. A few minutes later, an Alvarado police officer arrived on the scene. The moment he stepped out of the car, a gunman who was hidden in the woods opened fire, struck him in the neck. At the exact same time, another gunman started shooting at the DHS officers. 20 to 30 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle were shot. Those officers are all blessed to be alive tonight. A jammed AR-style rifle was found at the scene. Now, imagine how many could have been murdered. So what motivated these suspects? Like Cameron Arnold of Dallas, Texas, a.k.a. Autumn Hill, or Savannah Batten of Fort Worth, Texas. She was previously arrested for obstructing a highway during another deportation protest back in 2018. Then there's Nathan Bauman. Look at his eyes. College Station, Texas. Per the complaint, he was carrying spray paint and flyers saying, "Fight ICE terror with class war and free all political prisoners." Then there's Zachary Evitz of Waxahachie, Texas. Per the complaint, Evitz's car was spotted fleeing the scene with other suspects in it. He was later found walking along the road about 3 miles from the ICE facility. Police searched him, and they found a black balaclava, a mask, a pair of tactical-style gloves, and a pair of safety goggles. An officer asked Evitz where he was coming from, and he said, "I do not know," or words to that effect. Then there's Joy Gibson of Dallas, Texas. The complaint says that she had 2 cell phones in the backpack inside a Faraday bag, which is used to prevent law enforcement from tracking location information. Then there's Bradford Morris of Dallas, a.k.a. Megan Morris. Per the complaint, Morris's house was used as a staging location before the ambush. Police recovered 9 additional firearms, 3 body armor vests, cans of spray paint, and fireworks. Then Elizabeth Soto and Inez Soto, both of Fort Worth, Texas. There's Marcella Rueda, also from Fort Worth, and Seth Sykes of Cannondale, Texas. They were found after fleeing the scene with a few other suspects that I mentioned earlier. Now, the complaint says they were all dressed in this black military-style clothing, like make-believe soldiers. Some had body armor, some covered in mud, some armed. Some had a banner found by one of the officers that read, "Resist fascism." And this is the favorite, "Fight the oligarchy." Now, where have we heard that before?
Wow.
This fascist administration didn't come from anywhere. They have planted the seeds for years.
We've got to defeat the oligarchs and the dictators that are trying to take over our country.
Do we have the guts to stand up to Trumpism and oligarchy and authoritarianism? We say yes.
And tonight I say all of them.
Next on deck with
Man, okay. Look, folks, this is keep it real, man. We all know if this was Democrats, if there'd have been, I don't know, if they would have did this at a BLM march, for instance, it would be something, I don't know, I'm just kind of equated with something that Democrats would be upset about. Because obviously they're not very upset about this. I mean, I heard about it, but not a lot. And I didn't even know to that extent. I hadn't even watched both clips. I found the second clip and added it. I hadn't even watched it. They were, that they had 9 additional firearms, 3 body armor kits, and everybody was dressed in black, and some had mud on them, like they were really at like they're really doing a maneuver here. So what are we talking about? I guess the question is, do the Democrats bear any responsibility for this attack on these police? I don't know. What do you think? I think that they haven't helped. Yeah, I don't know if they bear responsibility. I mean, people get to say things, freedom of speech. I don't think there's going to be, unless you were literally out saying, if you literally said, go get police, go out to ICE, attack them, whatever. Like, it depends on how bad the language got. But can we have any definitive proof that these people heard any of these comments made? Even if you find some Democrats that made some specific comment that was an unhinged threat, can we prove that that was what triggered or it was even told? And then wouldn't this become responsibility of the person doing the thing to be able to think? Like, to be able to make a decision like, okay, yeah, I know Bernie said that, but that doesn't mean I get to go do this, because if I get caught, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. Like, wouldn't this personal responsibility play into it? Don't get me wrong, I got no problem saying that, some of this, this kookiness, this idea that it's fascism, to have a border and protect your border is crazy to me. Okay? And I've been very upfront, very honest about how I feel about the advocacy. I'm like, you can't tell me you fight for black people if you ain't concerned about the border. So anybody that tells me, anybody that puts themselves up as being an advocate for black Americans is in politics. In politics. Because you could be a person working locally, working on, food banks, food deserts. There's a lot of different things. Right? Investments, entrepreneurism, incubator businesses, a lot of different ways. Education, stem cell training, STEM classes, whatever, right? STEM classes, whatever. It's a lot of different ways that you could help the black community and work towards that. But what I'm talking about specifically, I don't believe that you can fight for black America without focus on the immigration if you're in politics, because it's one of the political issues of our time. One of the larger political issues of our time, particularly to black Americans. And for them to be pretty much numb on the idea, silent, and worse, even worse, putting out misinformation so they keep their cushy slots and don't let black Americans know what's going on. That's the problem. So I got no problem calling it out, but now I'm a Democratic Party hater, but I'm not going to say it's their fault that these 9 wackos decided they was going to try to go ambush the cops over deporting people, who overstayed their visa, whose temporary permanent status has been revoked. Or set to be revoked. That's crazy. I'm not gonna go that far. Doesn't mean you can't. So let me know what you think. I don't want to just be, drawing a line between these things. Because I don't know. I think they all have the wherewithal, the brain choice, or the able to make conscious decisions what they want to do and what they don't want to do. They could have decided differently, regardless of what AOC says. If you're walking around taking your cues from AOC, what you're gonna do in the real world based on what she's doing behind a podium, well, then that means you're not for this world. You're not long for this world. You know, you checked out long ago. You should not be here. All right. Yeah. Anything else?
Tim Black.
You are not going to see a capitulation from this show and from this network to that thug who is going to be occupying the building 2 blocks from this studio. What you're not going to see are the sort of silly, ridiculous things that you've heard come from so-called progressive folks at the Young Turks, like Yank Ugar and Anna Kasprin, who frankly have been sounding more MAGA than anything else. What you're not going to see are the people like Jimmy Dore, who sound like Bernie bros, who turn into right-wing MAGA supporters. What you're not going to see is anybody, definitely not this show and this network, kissing the ass of Donald Trump and these MAGA people.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yeah, I just want to point out here what we, I may not see you kissing Trump ass, but you damn sure are kissing every bit of the Democratic Party's ass. Yeah, you've been doing that since day one. So what you're just saying is you're going to be consistent with your ass kissing. Yeah, you don't kiss the tail. You just say kissing the same tail. Is that what you're saying? Rolling. Like, I don't know how I stumbled upon this clip, but I thought it was hilarious. Because so often Roland, when anybody in New Black Media talks about Roland talks as if we are crazy bottom feeders. Going after him because he's so amazing. But look at him going at TYT. Look at him going at whoever he can shoot at. For some reason, his audience seems not to care when he goes crazy and he gets his back up and wants to come out to other people. He does it himself. Well, you try to say, I can't imagine that Cenk Uygur went after Roland. Nah, because their reach is so far past Roland's. Why would they do that? Roland picking a fight because Roland's trying to grow his numbers. But I don't much care about that. Of course, there's going to be some jockeying for position and people saying stuff and people putting out content. I put out content, I say things, but it's never beyond what I truly believe, what I ethically believe, what I stand on, and I never do it just to do it. In fact, sometimes I want to stop. I don't want to call out everybody. But damn it, Johnson, you made yourself the content. Roland Martin is a Democratic Party person. And that's what he's going to be. That's what he's always been. He's going to ride in and leave on. He's going to ride out on the same horse he rode in on. And that's the Democratic Party. My problem is when he tries to make that seem like that's blackness. That's not blackness, man. Democratic Party's not Black Party. It's not here to advocate for Black Americans, and that's my issue. And yeah, if I could peel off a few Roland supporters, that'd be great. If I could somehow attract some Roland supporters who grow tired of the Democrats, who are tired of being lied to, have finally awakened and see, hey, this is garbage. These people are phony. And what they're doing is of no benefit to my people. I gladly take those people. I gladly add them to the Tim Black VIP list. But in my experience, is this few and far between. I just don't know. But folks, let me know if you were formerly a watcher of Roland Martin or if you watch both. Maybe because Roland, he can tell you names and dates of different pieces of legislation. He's been knee-deep in this since the 90s. And I never take that from him. But it don't matter what you know. It doesn't matter how eloquent you speak. If you ain't saying shit. It doesn't matter how much you can name drop if you ain't dropping no knowledge, Roland. That's my problem with Roland Martin. All right, I'm going to leave it there, Johnson. Buck Bewley, man, feel free to bow out, man. I'm really on the fence, guys. I'm really on the fence because I got a segment I want to do. Maybe I should do an after-hour segment. Yeah, okay. So for the Tim Black Wolfpack members, I don't know. I want to cover. There's an issue with Rice and Grits podcast. How many people are familiar with the Rice and Grits podcast? Who knows what I'm talking about? And how many people know about the $1 million worth of game? Interesting. It's just, I saw some correlations between the conversations happening that's brewing in the hip hop community and the conversations brewing in political media. So there's hip hop media, you know, like Wallow, Gilly. You got Joe Budden podcast, you got Ritz and Grits podcast, you got all these different hip hop influence, Breakfast Club, like, you know, you got all, and I gotta admit, you know, there are a lot of shows with a lot of folks getting a lot of paper, and they are based in hip hop. And I'm just looking at the difference between that and politics. And what a political, it's like we have no political. There's not much room for politics. There is no similar traction being made with the political realm, I think. And there's currently a conversation going on about it that's really interesting. I want to cover it. I just don't think tonight's enough time to do it because I got 20 minutes worth of footage. 20 minutes worth of dialogue to dissect. We have Devonte, the brother from the Ritz and Grits? Rice and Grits? Ritz and Grits. Rice and Grits. Then I got the Wallow clip. Then I got the Joy Badass and what kind of sparked this all. Interesting stuff, man. Anyway, yeah, you know, I'm going to hold tight, fam. I'm going to hold tight on it. Yeah, Grits and Egg podcast. Interesting podcast. For the record, guys, the Ritz and Grits podcast is very interesting. If you haven't checked it out, you know, I say check it out. Interesting stuff. I'll save that for another day. Just know, if we truly gonna make an impact, and we're really gonna change the politics in this country, it's gonna require that us in New Black media actually make some serious noise. I think it's gonna come from us. We're gonna have to build it. And we can't be scared. We can't be scared to rock the boat. We can't be afraid to go against the grain. And we have to put our time in and take it seriously. And I think that's sort of like the message. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot more to it. We'll get to it. I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, though. I want to thank y'all for being here. Good night, Buck. And moderators, and also Ebony. And our thoughts are with you, Black Mamba, wherever you are. Hope you're feeling well. Let's do this, man. Let's end it. Let's go to our comment section one more time before we bounce out of here. Black Rose says, I don't watch Roland. Bernardo says, they say, learn a lot from a dummy, Tim Black. I feel you, fam. Yeah. What? This is what I'm talking about. We need more of this. They just arrested a taco shop owner for hiring illegals in California. We need more of this. This needs to happen more often. I'm sick of Michael's son. Yo. Roland Martin's the same guy who danced with Master Hillary. Wow. Wilson said, if you watch him long enough, you will kill yourself. Yikes. Yes, the Democrats are stirring up hate. Global warming. Global warming. Ferocious, the producer, says for sure. With allies like this, or allies like that, Democrats look hard. Trumpism. Oligarchy on both sides. Absolutely. That money, look, that money that was put into this campaign, like, look, you know, we got to keep it a buck here, guys. The money that was dumped into the 2024 election by billionaires is just crazy. It's just crazy. Like, you can't. That Citizens United Supreme Court ruling that said basically money is like having free speech. They equated free speech with money, and now you can put as much money in, you know, as you can put in speech. That just ruined politics. Because now they just dump all the money into our races. You know, I think the number is like 90. It's not 90, it's high 80s. I want to say 90% of races. Whoever spends the most money wins. That's why when somebody wins who doesn't have the most money, it becomes news just based on that one data point. Because rarely, folks, does the underdog, the underfunded, defeat the well-funded or well-connected. Just doesn't happen. So it's rare. It is rare. But see, now when you got super PACs who donate on their behalf, who perform outside of you, can also, because I've helped candidates who were destroyed not by the candidate they were competing with, but by the outsiders with the super PACs who dump money into the race and clog the airwaves. And there are people, that's why I say, folks, I've seen so many dirty things happen. Races that were stolen, elections that were rigged, dirty, underhanded things that were done by Democratic operatives that I can't believe anybody. I know I should put all this in a book. I just know I should. I just wonder if anybody would buy it. You know, I had an up-close personal relationship in a front row seat to so many things that were enough to make you go, ah. That's why I say I don't like politics. But it's a necessary part of what we got going on in America. And unfortunately, some of the things I want done require legislation, require government. Not everything, but some things do. Man, I got nothing but love for y'all. Be back tomorrow. Everybody get some sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. This is Tim Black of the Tim Black Show. Join us, become a member of the Tim Black VIP Wolfpack. Go to jointimblack.com or go to Patreon, Tim's Take Live. You'll see my TBTV. You'll see me. That's all I got, man. Nothing but love for y'all. Be safe. I'll see you soon. Remember, don't let anybody take your cornbread. That's your cornbread. You have an obligation to keep your cornbread. That's something you should have to do. If you don't keep your cornbread, that means you deflate the value of cornbread for the rest of us. So you got to keep your cornbread, Johnson. Pass your cornbread down to your kids. Last but not least, man, I got to say it to my ladies, man. My ladies are asleep. It is past midnight. Damn, it's past 1 o'clock. I got to go. Where are my ladies? Where are my ladies? And when I say that, I'm talking about my babies. Okay. Had some kooky person. Tim thing up here, like he got a bunch of women. You dumb. These are the ladies I'm talking about. I see y'all on the next one. Much love, y'all. Up. There.
Now, there you go. I can't wait till it's my turn.
Peace.